with another episode number 4, Ain't Chit Podcast. Bruno here with my man Serge from Ironbound Breaks. This is a two-man show tonight. What's up?
What's going on? How we doing?
All right. A lot of stuff going down.
It feels like since episode 3, it's been like a month. Like so much has happened since in between that it feels like we missed a show or two.
It really does. I mean, a lot of stuff going on between, the hobby, sports world, things in general. There's a lot of stuff going down. Politics, everything. 2 weeks, man. It's crazy. Why don't we start with the Philly show, which I was at last weekend. As usual, I always talk about the Philly show. I love it. I think it's a great show. I think it's pretty organized. A lot of people there, a lot of traffic. So similar to this past weekend, I know you didn't go. You didn't have a chance to, but yeah, Friday was busier than I anticipated. So we actually did pretty good on Friday night. There were a lot of people, and then Saturday just went crazy. I mean, they had some pretty big signings. It was basically Eagles Day on Saturday. Nick Foles was the big one. They had Doug Peterson.
They had a lot of the Super Bowl 52 guys there, yeah.
Yeah, so you saw actually a lot of people walking around with the Super Bowl 52 helmet, and just had a lot of signatures on that. So yeah, when that was happening just throughout the day, it just got really busy. So that was good. We did really good on Saturday. Sunday, for some reason, they can't get Sunday to...
One of those pack up early, try to get good deal kind of days.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is about Sundays there at the Philly show, but people just don't show up. They'll go to their signings, but nothing happens on the floor. I mean, you've got essentially the whole day are vendors walking around, trying to pick up some deals. It's really it. Aside from that, you don't really see a lot of customers walking in, which is very strange. I think they need to figure that one out. I think they need to probably get some headliners in on Sundays, maybe 1 or 2, and to try to bring in some more people or do something.
Even things out a little bit, yeah. Because you figure how many people go there for the signings on Saturday and miss out on the show altogether. But at the same time, you wonder if the people that did go to the signing Saturday just wound up going on Friday for the to shop the floor. I've never done that show with you guys. I've only gone as a spectator, and I've been there on a Friday, which was good, and I've been there on a Sunday, which was okay. That one Sunday that I went and met up with you down there.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was one of those things where we were just kind of taking turns walking around just to try and scoop up some last minute deals. But I'd be curious to be there on a Saturday. Even if I'm not going for any signings. I was supposed to go there this Saturday, but things didn't work out too well at work.
Yeah, I mean, it's how it went. It's how it's been for the past couple of years that I've been going to the show and vending at the show. So I don't know. The Sunday thing is very strange because, we do other Sunday shows throughout the country, and it doesn't seem to be like that. Yes, towards the latter part of the day, it gets slower, but you still get a nice cluster of people in at least the first half of those shows. So I'm not really sure what the deal is there. Maybe 3 days is too much. I'm not really sure. I wish they could figure that one out. It's a shame because the show is great. I mean,
yeah, it's a well-organized show. It's you sometimes you feel like 3 days isn't enough, but I don't know. It's one of those. I'd be curious to see how well a show would do if it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for example, instead of it being the full weekend, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or something like that. It could be people just blow their wad, on Friday and Saturday, just have nothing to spend on Sunday. Now, did you find Friday being a particularly good buying day? Were there a lot of people buying?
Yeah, I thought it went pretty good, pretty well, at least for us. I mean, we did pretty well. What you get on the Fridays that I like is you get the dads or the guys that are coming out of work and they're shooting over to the card show. A lot of times they bring their kids with them or they meet up with some friends, so That's what the Friday night is used for. It does work out pretty well. I've actually had some success, even this past, what was it, last month at the New Jersey show. Fridays, that show for me also does better than, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that is the same for other vendors, but I know me in particular, the Friday thing works well. You mentioned Thursdays, but I don't know if that would work.
It depends on the kind of show. It can't be a show that, is like seasonal where there's like 4 of them in a year. It'd have to be like a one-time kind of limited venue kind of place for that to work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the National. National's the same thing. You get there, you get the early pass on Wednesday. Everyone's set up, but there isn't much foot traffic. And as you get further into the weekend, it starts to pick up with Friday and Saturday being the 2 days that you can't even move. And then you have your Sunday where it's just like people are just packing up at that point.
That's the problem. And when you talk to other vendors there, it's a shame because they all say the same. They are expecting Sunday to be slow.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel kind of like a prisoner almost. That's kind of the sense that we get, is everybody feels like they're imprisoned on Sundays because of the contract. No, they don't want you to start packing up early.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's allowed to leave before, the 3 p.m. closing time.
Yep.
So it almost feels like the vendors are just like, whatever. So there's no real excitement for the Sunday. It's like they're all expecting the same thing. Nobody's coming. I don't really care. It's just a slow day. There's no.
It's almost like a store having Sunday hours. Like being open till noon. Like we're there just to be there.
That's what it feels like.
Especially if you're there for the whole thing, man. You come Sunday. I remember when we went to Chicago, Lewis and I stayed over at your booth on that Sunday, and I still had the drive because Lewis was flying. I still had the drive ahead of me, and I didn't know, but it was actually the same weekend as what was it, Lollapalooza? So I caught all that Chicago traffic, and I ended up driving all the way straight through 13 hours. That last hour was brutal, though. Once I got to the Poconos, it was like it was probably like 7 in the morning, and that sun is coming up. 6:37 in the morning, the sun's coming up. Like, oh man, I'm gonna die. But I'm like, I made it this far. My whole plan leaving Chicago was I was gonna drive till I felt I could, and then once I couldn't drive anymore, I was gonna pull over and sleep. But shit, made it that far. Might as well just get home.
Yeah, that's a rough drive, though.
Yeah, but it's like you're like. You're there already 5 days. You've seen what you had to see. You've experienced it all. Now it's time to pack up and go. And it's like you're already kind of dreading that. So I kind of get it. I think for me though, like if I had a booth, I'm one of those guys where I'm like one of the last to always like break down my stuff on a show like that. If I'm committed to it, I'm there like till I absolutely have to be.
Yeah, I mean, same. We don't break down until the very end either. But I don't get tired on the Sundays. I'm not one of those guys that are expecting it to be slow. Every time I go, I'm motivated and I'm always optimistic and want it to do well. I'll look at the signings. I'll see. Okay, maybe we'll get an influx of people here at this time, stuff like that. So I have that motivation for it to do well, and I want it to continue. I'm committing myself to these 3 days, and I want to work those 3 days. The passion is there for me to work all 3 days, all of it. So getting exhausted, it doesn't even come to me until after the show.
Yeah, after the show. But you also, at the same time, you don't want to just stand around and watch, look up at the ceiling.
That's the problem. You
want, even if it's just interaction, even if it's not somebody coming over to buy or try and sell something to you, it's just that interaction. Just, hey, come over, come look at my shit.
Yeah. In fact, something I normally don't do at the shows because of how busy it gets and all that stuff is I don't leave my booth. It's very rare for me to leave my booth. This past Sunday at the show, I left my booth multiple times to walk around, which is great. I mean, I've never walked the Philly show before, so to do that was cool. but at the same time, not so cool because I didn't want to be I don't want to walk around. I'm there to vend at the show. So I want to be at the booth talking to customers, making some deals, stuff like that. So, but, yeah, I mean, it was the first time that I was actually able to step away from the booth, walk around. I mean, I must have done it 3 or 4 times on that Sunday, and I've never done that before.
I always, it's not that I feel weird doing it, but it's like I see other guys that come over to like our booth, like when we do the North Jersey shows, and I never really understood that because essentially, like we all do the same show, so whatever it is we're buying, we're gonna just display. But I still we've gotten friendly with a lot of the guys from that show, so you always got to go and say hello and support them. And I mean, I'm a smoker, so I go out for my cigarette breaks. I have a slew of friends that come with me to do the same. So, but yeah, that's why like for me it's rough. Like when Kat comes and does the shows with me, at least I have her to watch over the booth. So go use the bathroom, go for a cigarette, get something to drink, walk around a little bit. Because that's the other thing. I don't like sitting at shows.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to do something. You're there to connect. Mm-hmm. So you want that to be part of it, part of the experience.
I'll tell you what, though, when we were that table across from us when I did that Sunday with you, that they had the TV and they had the Eagles game on. Yeah, that was pretty clutch, man. That's a way to keep people, coming over to your table.
That's true. Yeah, it was the season opener, right?
It was. I don't know if it was season. No, it wasn't season opener. It was the Titans game, the game they played against the Titans where they scored a ton of points.
Okay.
Yeah, I always do well buying at that show. I don't ever bring anything to sell with me, and I know that I have a lot of stuff that would do well at that show, but I just I haven't been able to commit to the 3 days. But I'd love to do that show. But I get a taste of it with like Fishtown and Cherry Hill. But yeah, that's definitely one that's on my bucket list. Gotta try doing that one. I buy a lot of Giant stuff to because of where we are, and I thought that I'd have like a lot of Saquon stuff that I'd be able to carry over into Philly, but I actually don't have anything. I think I have like one Prism rookie.
He started to sell a little bit better, over the last year and a half or so, because he actually started to produce and not get hurt. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man,
free agency.
Here we go.
These last 3 days have been crazy,
insane, and they're already talking about how there are some teams that are trying to push to get an extension.
You got to get on it. That's it. I mean, that's why these GMs get, are hired to do what they do. I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about it, I'm like, why? It's not what the Eagles organization are meant. They don't do that. They don't pay running backs. They don't. And what they gave him. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought about, his career without having a good offensive line and what he's been able to do. It's just, hopefully he just stays healthy. Because if he stays healthy, then I think he'll fare very well in Philly.
That was his biggest downside, Saquon and his health. Mm-hmm. Playing full season. He has done it over what is this, like 2 full seasons now? He's been pretty healthy, or for the most part?
Yeah.
So that's his thing. When he's like that, I mean, he's the player that he always was, which, it's impressive. It's just...
I heard a stat earlier. It was like he made up for just last season alone. And we know how bad the Giants were. He made up like just under 40% of the entire offense. And that was with a shitty offensive line.
Yeah, we'll see what he does for you guys. I had a feeling, too, that he was going to go to a rival. I had a feeling. I'm like, oh, man, he might go to Dallas. I don't want him in Dallas.
I thought for sure Dallas, to be honest.
Yeah, I was expecting the Eagles, but hey, I just didn't want him. But you guys, you also picked up, who'd you pick up? You picked up a defensive guy that was pretty good.
Yeah, well, we got Garner Johnson back from the Colts.
You got that, but there's another guy, too.
That was waving goodbye to everyone in that NFC Championship game.
But you got somebody else that was pretty good. Somebody from the Jets.
Yeah, we got him. He's a lineman, and Jesus Christ, I can't remember Devontae freaking Parker. Yeah, Devontae Parker. Not Devontae Parker. Jarvis Landry.
You got Jarvis Landry?
No, what the fuck am I talking about? What the fuck did we pick up? The guy that's been playing in New England. Yeah, Devontae Parker. That's what it is. Yeah, so they just picked up Devontae Parker.
All right, trying to get your defense up. There were a lot of interesting signings. Like you said, the past couple days have been wild. You got Kirk Cousins. I don't know why the Vikings let that go.
I think that was the biggest one. Bigger than Russell going to Pittsburgh. I think Cousins going to Atlanta was a lot bigger.
Why would you let that go? Good for Atlanta because he's going to make it work there. Atlanta's got a solid team. They were just missing a good quarterback. Kirk Cousins is going to light that place up, man.
Yeah.
They're likely gonna win that division. Probably for the couple years that he's there, 2-3 years, whatever it is. That's a stacked team. One of the teams that impressed me that I am scared of right now are the Packers. I think they made some good moves. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't really agree with getting rid of. I thought they would have gotten rid of AJ Dillon before Jones.
Right.
And to get rid of Jones and get Josh Jacobs.
That's a great move. The guy's solid.
See, that's the thing. He's got like 2 years on him, I think. And I would have at that point just kept Jones. I don't know if I would have given up if I would have gone with Josh Jacobs.
I would have taken him in a heartbeat. Yeah, Josh Jacobs he's going to do very well there. The Packers needed a running back, a better running back. I think he definitely plays that part. They got Xavier McKinney on the defense. That's a good pickup right there. Probably the Giants' best player.
Yeah.
This past season.
Yeah.
So, that was a good pickup.
Giants also got Brian Burns from the Panthers.
Yeah, that's a good one there. Guess who the Cowboys got?
They made something a little while ago.
Yeah, it happened not too long ago. But aside from that, they did nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they did absolutely nothing. With the little bit that they did do, apparently made some sort of noise. But I was watching that podcast before we got on, so I just saw the thing come up.
They did nothing. I don't know what their deal is. I don't know.
They got to get something. They got to get rid of Gallup.
But they're already trying to. So he's already going. We already know that. They got rid of Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get a top running back, which is what I thought they were going to do. I thought Derrick Henry was on the table, and they lost that. And Derrick Henry basically was picked up. It was a steal, $8 million or something like that.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I mean, man, what are they doing? I don't know. And then Aaron Jones was available. Nothing. Nothing happened. I don't know what they're doing. So I don't know what their play is here. I don't know what they're thinking.
Is Zeke still on the Patriots?
He was. I don't know if he still is.
I had him in 2 fantasy leagues last year, and he came through in a clutch.
Yeah, he was doing pretty good, especially in the later part of the season.
Oh, it's trending that he might come back to the Cowboys
because they're doing nothing, so they need him back. Oh, come on.
Well, they were saying the same thing. Before the offseason. They were saying the same thing about Miles Sanders. How they might get rid of Swift and get Sanders back for nothing.
Yeah, but now if they do that, Zeke is fine, but he needs that other guy. That's why it was working with Pollard, because he'd get a couple yards and Pollard would just break free. Mm-hmm. So that was the whole deal. Just like a few years back when he didn't have Pollard, he was carrying the load, but it would take a toll on him.
Yeah.
So he needs that other guy. You just got rid of Pollard, so now what? I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Whatever, typical Cowboys. I don't understand them. Whatever. Oh, but just keep Dak, right? Keep Dak. Yeah, pay him all this money.
Draft another tight end.
Yeah, exactly, right? And linebacker. That's all they do. Linebackers and tight ends. Linebackers that get hurt in their first year. Career-ending injuries. Did you like that Russell Wilson move?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like Russell Wilson? Are you a fan?
I like Russell Wilson, and I'm also heavily invested in Russell Wilson. So did I like that? You asked me if I liked that move. Yes, I did. I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't go to the Giants. I didn't want him going to the Giants.
That's where I thought he was going to go. I didn't like the move. I don't think it's a good move for Pittsburgh.
You think that they should have drafted someone?
They still can. Having him there, the problem is, I think, I might be wrong, but it seems like Russell Wilson's ego is getting in the way. And it makes it hard for younger players to develop with a guy like that. That's my take on it, because Pittsburgh right now is a young team. Is he good? Yeah, he can be really good. I get that. But if you're trying to, looking into the future and hoping to develop some guys and get to the next level. I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know if he's the one you want around these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It might, maybe it's just me, but something about him just doesn't rub me the right way there.
I mean, you had a guy like Mason Rudolph that he was there towards the end of Roethlisberger's career, and you can tell the difference between a player that, was brought under the wing. You're seeing the same thing with Jordan Love.
Right.
Someone that was brought under the wing and sat, first year or two under a veteran's wings, they learn a lot from them.
Yep.
That's something that Kenny Pickett didn't have. And to be honest, I think that if Russell Wilson gets hurt, week 1, you don't see Kenny Pickett in. I think you see Rudolph in there.
Well, that would be nice, but Rudolph went to the Titans.
Well, then you wouldn't see Rudolph.
Yes.
So who the hell's their third string?
I don't know.
Rudolph went to the Titans.
Yeah, that when they signed Ridley and Rudolph.
Ridley, they paid Ridley.
That's a guy that should have stayed in Atlanta. Who's the starting quarterback in Tennessee right now? Because I know Levis. Colts signed... 5
hours ago. Okay. It's the dude that got bashed in the head with the helmet. Mason Rudolph.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny Pickett.
Man, the Browns get rid of Joe Flacco and bring in Jameis Winston. It's like these guys just keep recycling. It's crazy.
What happened to Dorian Thompson?
He might still be there.
He was a rookie last year.
Yeah, well, he had the first few games where he was going nuts. His stock went up real fast, but then just stopped. Just completely stopped.
And they still have Watson on the contract. Or did he sign somewhere else? Deshaun Watson is still the starter. I didn't see Flacco sticking around. That was a cool story last year. Yeah,
for sure. For sure. Yeah, he wasn't going to stay there. He's definitely a one-year guy.
Yeah,
this free agency has been pretty wild. It's fun to watch.
So, what else at the Philly show? Do you guys have any trade up challenges come up?
Oh man, trade up challenges. So, good thing we didn't have as many this time around. But we still had them. Man, do I hate trade up challenges. It's such a pain in the ass. And it's horrible because they're kids, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, where are your parents? Like, where's your dad? Tell these kids not to bring some shitty-ass cards over here. Like, be smart about it, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you want to start with something? Okay, bring over, like, a Prism Silver of some top running back or something like that.
Ooh.
Start with something like that. Yeah, it's a $1 to $5 card, but start there. Don't tell your kid to bring in some paper base of like some schmo. I mean, hey, can you trade up for this? No, I'm not trading up for that.
5th year score, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, come on. What's up with that jet?
See, I kind of thought about this. Is what if you start like bringing in like your Zach Wilsons and your Trey Lances, and as those kids come to you for trade up challenge, start handing out those.
Might as well, but you know what though? They're not idiots, okay? Because they'll say no to those. That's the problem. So they'll bring like 2 or 3 cards of like these nobodies, and ask if they could have like one of the graded cards in your showcase. Like, come on, man. I think going forward, I'm going to say, "Where's your dad? Tell him to come here."
You need guidance.
Yes, because this isn't going to work. Oh, man. It just defeats the purpose. Like, I feel bad for them, but, I'm not going to agree to this just because you're a kid. Like, you're going to learn the hard way at this point. If your dad doesn't want to teach you the lesson, I'll teach him.
And you know where they're getting this stuff from. They're getting this stuff from these YouTube videos where it's a guy goes to the National and he flips, $20 into a grand.
Exactly. So it doesn't work like that. Like, I'm all for it if you're at least bringing me something of substance. Like, I'm willing to trade down a little bit if you're bringing me something that I know I can flip. Mm-hmm. But it's just so annoying, man. Every time.
I push off things that I can't move. Like, listen, what you have, I'll lose money on, but I can actually move. it's a little more liquid, so hand it over. But
Yeah.
it's like it's screwed up because you're not enjoying the show at that point. Like they think they're enjoying it, but you're not there for the reason why you should be there.
Yeah.
My biggest pet peeve is the whole coin flip thing. I can't stand it, man. It's like, all right, I'll give you. You're asking 40 on something, or you're asking 50. Somebody offers you 40. They're like, oh, 50 if you want to flip on it. It's all right. So you're willing to gamble and lose and still be willing to pay the 50. Why not just pay me the 50? You know, if you lose, you're going to pay the 50 anyway.
That seems more like, I don't like that too. That seems more of like a content type of thing.
Yeah,
like people do it just for content because it's something you watch because it's different.
They're doing it a lot when the cameras aren't on too.
Really?
Not to mention when they slam the cord on your display case is getting all scratched up. I can't stand, because at that point it's like, if I really want something, I'm not going to haggle you for $5 or $10. And if I'm willing to bet, then obviously I'm willing to pay. I might as well just pay.
Exactly. You're just doing this thing that's totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Coin flips, trade up challenges. Come on. Let's do something else. Let's figure something else out here. I had to do a damn spin wheel with this kid over because he didn't have a coin.
Let's come up with the next thing. Let's do one of those origami things.
That's even better. More options. Oh, man.
Pick a color.
Well, here's the crazy thing about that spin wheel that happened to me. So I forget what card it was, but let's say it was a $50 card. So sticker, $50. He lowballs it, whatever, says, let's say 25 is what he wanted to pay. And I say, fuck no. Not in those words, but that's what my head was telling me.
Yeah.
Yes. So I said, fuck no. And so then he's like, let's flip a coin for it. And I'm like, oh God, I really don't want to do that. So I told him, like, I'm willing to knock off $10, but that's it. Like, I'm not going lower. So then he goes, okay, let's flip a coin for it. If you win, I give you the 40. But if I win, then I'll give you, then he added money. So he said, I'll give you $60, something to that effect. And I said, dude, what is happening right now?
Give me the 50 and walk away.
I'm like, just give me the 50. We'll meet halfway. Like, why do we have to go through this torture? So I said, man, you're already fucking up. Again, not in those words, but I said, you're already fucking up. Like, if you're going to do this to other people, make sure you're doing it right. So I said, no. If I win, you're giving me the 50. Or whatever it was, whatever agreement we came to. But I'm like, man, you don't even know how to do this right. Like, that's terrible. Where's your dad?
Go get your dad. I did a show early on. I don't know. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. And this little, like, I don't know. The kid must have been like 6 or 7. He came coming over to my table, looking through my dollar bin, and then he would pick out like 2 or 3 cards, and they were like dollar cards. I'm like, just like give me $1 or and then he'd come back and I'd give him the cards for free. They were like really like low end cards. And then he'd come back and he's like, do you want to buy some of my cards? I'm like, all right, I'll take a look at what you have. Same kid. He kept coming over to my table. So I'd look at his cards and I'd be like, all right, just to make the kid happy, I'd buy like a real low end card for like $1, just to make him feel good. And then he'd walk away and then he'd come back over. He'd look through the dollar bin again, pull out the card that I just bought him off of him. He'd be like, how much is this card?
What the fuck?
I swear to God, he must have done it like 6 or 7 times. I'm like, kid, like, where are your parents? Oh, they're over there. We have a table over there. I'm like, yeah, go over there.
That's even worse. It's like, a vendor's kid?
Yeah. To the point where I'm like, hey, kid, get away from my table, please. Like, he just kept coming over. He's like, do you want to trade this? I'm like, you just bought that. I just gave you that car. No, I don't want to buy it.
Maybe you want to trade up.
Kid, it doesn't get any better than this. You can have those. I'm like, please, like I told him, like, please, can you leave my table?
That's great. Oh man. Yeah, I mean it's they're kids, I get it. But like
Yeah, but and I'll
you
entertain it, but
some kids got it good because their dad is with them and they're
yeah,
literally standing over them and saying, no, say this, or are you sure you want to go with that? Why don't you offer this? So that's the guidance they need. So
yeah,
that's what you need to do. Teach
yeah,
them how to do it the right way. Sometimes they'll even say like, no, that's not the card that they're going to want. Show them this one. So
yeah.
like, that's what you need. That makes sense. But to send your kid off to try to work out deals with these vendors, which a
No, they're
lot of
gonna get
them give you
slaughtered.
problems.
I'd be so annoyed if my kid gets home like, "Hey, show me what you got," and then I'm like, "What'd you spend on this?" I'd be so pissed off. But you
Yeah, it's
see,
just,
the kids with the parents, I've seen one of two ways where it's like the kid just becomes like he gets really nervous and just wants to see something he likes, and then you hear like their parents say, we just got here. This is the first table. Are you sure you don't want to go take a look around? And there are other parents that are just like back the fuck off and let the kids do whatever they want.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have $20 to spend here. I they have full faith that the kid will make the best out of those $20.
Well, you also have to consider some parents don't even know what this stuff, like they're
Yeah,
clueless about the
hmm
hobby. So, they go there because the kid likes cards
yeah,
and they're just going to support them. But they're pretty clueless. So you can tell, you see those parents too. But even some of those clueless parents, they ask questions.
yeah,
They ask the vendors questions about the card. Is this the value? How do you look it up? So stuff like that. Again, that's the smart thing to do. But to go in, blindly, not ask questions, expect your kid to know who's just a kid, or sending your kids off or telling them to do whatever they want, like that's a mistake because you want these kids to be you want them to be educated in the hobby, so
right.
you want them to help grow the hobby and enjoy it and have a passion for it. If you're not teaching them or you're not guiding them, they're going to hate it. They're
Yeah,
going to hate it, or they're going to be one of these assholes that screw it up.
yeah,
I mean, that's what happens because there are guys in the hobby that are just really crappy for the hobby, and
hmm
this is part of the reason they were never taught the right way. It's just one of those things, but it is pretty annoying to have those trade up challenges.
but you are seeing more and more kids at these shows, which is really cool. I'm glad
Yeah,
to see.
yeah, for sure. And they come in groups sometimes, so it's cool to see like them interacting and seeing them trading with themselves. Stop with the trade up challenges. They have trade nights now. Take your kid to that because that's a good experience
Yeah,
because everybody's there for trading for the most part, but
hmm
they're there to trade. So by them going into that environment, they're going to be talking to people that are going to tell them this is how you do it, as opposed to you're going to vendors who are trying to sell their shit. They're not here trying to trade for your little base card. Trade night, you'll probably learn something.
yeah.
So, take advantage of that. Stop with the trade up challenges, please. Card shows, please ban them. Anybody that mentions that word, kick them out. Get them the fuck out of the show.
You've heard it first,
Done.
and especially if you're a grown ass man.
Have
You've
you
heard it.
had that? You've had a grown ass man asking about a trade up challenge?
But those are like you see the influencers on YouTube. Those are the people that usually do it. They're usually like grown ass people. It's not little. I've never seen little kids. Little kids just saw them at shows.
Stop with the fucking trade up challenge. It just sucks.
That's the next T-shirt you're gonna get made. The next fuck
Sure is.
fuck your trade up.
Trade this and have an arrow pointing down. Or trade down and then have the arrow pointing down. That's great. Oh man, you know that shirt's coming. Coming to a
Yep.
show near you. Oh man, classic stuff. Good stuff.
Speaking of shirts, rep it today.
Hey, yo, there it is. Oh, man. So at the Philly show,
Mm-hmm.
so I get there, set up, all that, we're good, show started, blah, blah, blah. And then I just started thinking. So, usually like these shows, especially in these colder months, for some reason, I don't know if the AC was blasting beforehand, but typically when you're setting up for the show, it's super cold. I don't know what it is, right? So it was a little nippy in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run to the car, grab my hoodie. But then I started thinking, I'm like, fuck, I think I left it at home. And then I'm like, I started thinking some more. I'm like, oh fuck, I think my backpack's at home.
Oh man.
And I'm really thinking about this. I'm like retracing my steps because something I always do is right before I get in the car and leave, I stand at my garage and I stare into it and I recap what I put in the car and what I needed to take.
Do you give yourself a pat down, like to make
No.
sure you have your wallet and your keys and all that shit and phone?
Sometimes I would say I
Yeah.
do. So, I'm standing there and, I'm going through, I'm like, okay, I got this box. I put that in there. Yes, I took that, took that, took that. So, and this happens every time. I miss something every time. There's always something. And of course, this time was the backpack. So I'm like, oh no, all my stuff's in there. My charger, my clothes, you know, all that. So it's not busy in the beginning. So I run to Target and I buy some shirts. But I wanted to debut that Ancient Podcast shirt at the show and wasn't able to.
It sucks.
Pretty bummed out about that.
I saw you got it on the display scroll though. You had it. You had to change
I
the,
got what?
the display thing that you guys put the banner.
Oh, you didn't see that one yet?
No, I hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, I had it at the Jersey show, at the Freehold show. But yeah, we I just had that made. It's got the Ancient Podcast on there. It's got me and Kevin in
In Bitmojis.
yeah, in avatars or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the shirt. I wanted to debut it. I was so bummed out. So bummed out.
I got
But
two.
I got this shirt from Target. I got the Goonies shirt. I wore a Donkey Kong shirt at the show.
No wonder. No wonder people were asking if you wanted to do trade-up challenges.
Fuck.
You're dressed like a teenager. We were talking about it before, and so PSA has made a statement regarding that the Wembanyama 1 of 1.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so they came out and said that they don't, anything that has any sort of let me
substance or
yeah.
chemicals or anything like that.
They graded as they noted as altered.
Right. So quick, if you guys don't know out there what happened, so Prism basketball, the Prism Black 101 Victor Wembanyama was pulled. It was sent to PSA for grading. It came back 10. Now, before it went to PSA, it went to Kurt's Card Care. And he's been at these shows too. I think the National, he was there. So he's there. So Kurt is great at cleaning up cards. So if you got one that's in, rough shape or has some markings on it or stuff like that, anything like that, he's the guy to go to clean it up as best as he can to get it in a better shape so that, he could try to get a good or a decent grade. So that Prism Black went to Kurt, which means he put stuff on it to clean it up, and it came back a 10. Now, per the statement, president or the top guy put out a statement that PSA does not acknowledge cards that have been cleaned. In other words, if you put anything on the card to try to improve the quality of the card, they will turn that down. It will be considered an altered card. But
Right.
they graded it a 10. So that's where the whole debate comes into play of like, what the fuck?
So we were actually talking about it before because I did go to had my sister's baby shower in by where she lives in. They have a card show. Card shop there that I'd never been to. So I happened to go there. I snuck out and I went there to go check it out. And I got talking to the owner, and he was asking me if I'd ever used it before. Basically this, and it's a kit. It comes with some polishes. It comes with some weird things like makeup removers, but everything has a purpose. It comes with some sort of spray, microfiber cloth. I think these are for your ears. But a couple of different things, and I've actually tried it on a few cards, a few lower end cards, with some with deeper scratches, and it's not really getting the scratches out. The card comes out looking shinier with the wax, but I mean that's kind of like it should. I mean you're applying wax to the surface of a card,
Right.
but as far as, and I've watched the videos, I've watched him do it and see that they disappear. The ones that I tried it on the Prism cards, I just couldn't get it done. So, but I do agree with PSA coming out and saying what they say. The only thing is now you have to be careful, because if you buy a raw card that someone has altered and you submit, and then they see that it, has signs of wax, I guess, they can go ahead and reject grading it. So that would suck.
Yeah, so I think that's the problem now that this has become this is, first of all, cleaning the cards. That's something that's been happening for quite some time. This is not new whatsoever. I mean, this has been going on for a very long time. It's very common. People are aware of it. Can't tell me PSA is not aware of it. So it's been happening. Me personally, I have no issue with this. I think that cleaning your cards, I think it's a good thing. Of course, if you try to clean it and you leave some stuff on where it's like obvious, or, you can pick up on it. I mean, I get that, but I see nothing wrong with you trying to clean your cards and trying to fix it to get a better quality card. I think it's just part of the process.
Yeah. If you're looking
I don't think that, what was that?
If you're looking to sell your car, what's the first thing you do?
Exactly. You got to clean it up. You got to polish it. You got to clean it up.
Make it look nice.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that PSA should reject those kinds of cards. I just don't think they should. No. I don't.
Altered, if you're trimming a card, yes.
Exactly.
That you're altering the card. You're altering the appearance by just cleaning it, of using a product to clean the surface, which could also in turn damage a card. I mean, if you use it on the wrong card, it will damage it. So you're kind of doing it at your own.
Exactly. Which is why I think it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. We're wiping it down anyways. I mean, what are you saying exactly? I mean, isn't just wiping it down an alteration? If you pull the card and there's dust on it and you wipe it off, aren't you altering the original appearance?
Yeah, you have the little cut, the film that, especially on Prism, when they cut the card, you have that little film on top. I always rub my finger through the top to clear those out.
Yep.
You get fingerprints. I mean, how do you get it? How was I getting off the fingerprints before?
Exactly. And a funny thing about that, and it happens all the time, if you watch some of my break videos, numerous times it's happened where I'm opening a pack, going through the cards, and I'm like, how the hell does this base card have fingerprints all over it? It's a base card, and it's in the middle of the pack, and it has prints on it, and I didn't even touch it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I show it. I'm like, oh, it has fingerprints on it already. So what are you saying? We're not supposed to wipe that down? Are you going to be okay with, or saying that this is how it should have been?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wipe that down. I'm going to alter the way it looks, and I'm going to send it in if I wanted to. So I don't know. I think they're getting a little crazy. Some people are a little wild with that. I think it's perfectly fine. I think that if it was a 9, they cleaned it up, that Wemby became a 10, perfect. That's what you want.
It's probably a 10 before.
It could have been.
It's probably a 10 before.
Could have been. But yeah, some people just like to complain about. They just want content. They just want to make some ridiculous stuff, ridiculous claims. But I'm good with it. I think he does a great job. I mean, I'm very impressed. I've tried it myself, just like you, on numerous cards. I mean, he mentions that if it's like a cut that's
a deep scratch,
deeper, that you're likely not going to get rid of it, but it has to be like just a slight surface issue. So
I was
But
looking
even on
more
those,
for
I've
print
tried.
lines. Yeah, I was looking
I,
more for print lines. There are a lot of Prism cards that have print lines down the
yeah,
middle, print lines in the back, and you
yep,
can see them. If they got rid of those, I'd be real happy with the product. But
yeah, yeah. Unless we're doing something wrong, but I've tried it. I still try it.
watch the videos, do exactly what he's doing. I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm not looking for a 10 so bad that I need to turn it into a science fair project.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you do the circle motion with the Q-tip?
I wax on, wax off. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Miyagi.
Let's go.
I was applying it just like car wax, yeah. Same
Yeah.
thing. It's like Bob Ross. Happy trees. One breakthrough that I found out, not car related, but you ever hear of rollerblade wheels for your gaming chair, your desk chair?
I swapped mine out.
You have rollerblade wheels?
Yeah.
So I'm the one who's late to this party?
Dude, it's so much better, but the problem is it slides so well. So
It's a game changer.
yeah.
It's a game changer, man. I got them at work. I don't have them here yet, but I did order them. I can't wait
Oh
to
yeah.
put them on. It is a
Oh
game
yeah.
changer. Because the
Oh
other
man, the
wheels,
smoothness, man.
yeah,
And you can put them on anything, carpet, regular
mhm.
floor, anything. It's just like I said, the problem is like if you're on regular floor, like it slides so easily that like you can bust your ass. You can. But yeah,
I guess
it's a
I'm the
good
one
one.
who's late to the party. But yeah, if anyone hasn't gotten them yet, we endorse card cleaning and rollerblade wheels for your chairs.
Yes. Yes, that is awesome.
And what we do not endorse is the trade up challenge.
Yeah, fuck that shit. You got a nice display there with the Kobe's.
Yeah, yep. It's all they're all up to the 96 to 2000 Kobe. They try to get as many of the refractors as I could, but unfortunately I don't have many in my collection. But yeah, this is the share your slabs. It's just a basic PSA slab one. And then I have another one that's hung over on this side that's supposed to be for the Mag Pros.
Yep.
So I'm
No, it
gonna
looks good. That
yeah.
looks really good.
I'm chasing this rainbow for 2008 Upper Deck icons. It's like a jersey chronology, has different years for different players. So it's a 33 card set. But what I'll do is I'll probably just get them and just get the nines and just display them like horizontally.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you could do that. Or so the cool thing about them is that you can get a custom
mhm.
sized one. So you could probably do like if you want a horizontal one, maybe you could do like a 3x11 and get two of them, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Yeah.
However you want to divvy it
I'm
up.
also running out of real estate over here.
Yeah, I'm working on mine. I'm trying to finally figured out what I want to display. So I'm a Triple H fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite wrestler of all time. So I was thinking, probably try to get some Triple H autos on there, which would be great. But then I started thinking, like, I don't know if that's such a good idea because in 2022, Panini released Chronicles, WWE, which had a Triple H tribute set in it, and it's basically it chronicles his career.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 30 card set, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. I'm just gonna get those 30 cards, get two 15 Mac Pro displays.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, perfect. Then basically I have his career right there, as opposed to some random autos from sets.
Yeah.
This will make sense. You'll see his whole career span across the display. So I'm thinking about doing that. And the other thing is, so I don't know if it was maybe a couple shows ago we started talking about, I think Lewis with his whole like vintage packs, and we kind of mentioned like, hey, why don't you just overprice it? If you sell it, you can buy it again and then have some money.
Yeah.
So that kind of motivated me. So I went into my cheap Jordan box and started pulling out all these cards. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start selling this stuff. because my focus now is going to be, okay, I'm going to have a nice display behind me of some Jordan cards. I'm going to look for some inserts, some 90s inserts.
Cream of the crop cards. So you'd be
Nothing
okay.
crazy,
Yeah.
but just like maybe like images that, kind of define that kind of era and what he
Yeah.
did, and just get some nice cards. And I think a nice, whatever, how many cards, what is this? 15 or something like that, I think could be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my project. Hopefully
And then
I'll get that within the next couple weeks.
my next step then for the Mag Pros is figuring out what I'm going to do as far as the custom labels, because I want to do something that's going to be like ironbound sports cards, and then maybe like a gold label that says like PC on it. Like this card is exclusively from, how like Aoki has his, like if he sends a card to PSA, it says Aoki's plan or whatever the hell it says.
Oh
Something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Something like that. Like this card came from my PC.
Well, they can do that. If you
Yeah.
reach out,
So
you
I went
could
on the
tell them they
website.
can design it for you.
Yeah, I went on the website and I just haven't, I don't have the displays yet, nor have I finished that rainbow. So I'm not in a rush to get it done. But eventually, then I would like to get the labels made for that collection and anything. I'd probably make one for my PC and then one for cards that I sell.
Well, you don't need to. Oh, you still want to put your brand on it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to start doing too, in terms of like, I'm almost done with grading. Like, I think I'm going to start creating like a minimum value. If a card is, let's say, $200 and it's a decent card, then I might send it in for grading. Anything under that, it's going right into a Mac Pro with the brand on it, and I'm going to sell it like that. So this way I get the brand out, I sell the card
And
raw,
it looks cool.
and you save a ton of money that way too. Because I think my problem has been, like most people, because this has been the problem since the pandemic, is sending a whole bunch of lower end stuff to PSA, which is not worth it. Because when you get it back, if it's not a 10, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Even if it is a 10.
Sometimes
Even if
it's not
it is
worth
a
it.
10. Even if it does come back a 10, it's not worth it.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it's not worth it. If you're paying $20 for the card, you're paying another $20 to grade it. That's 40 right now. So you need a 10 to at least try to get 70 or 80 bucks.
Yeah.
If you get a 9, now you're fucked, because
Yeah.
that's basically a
A
$30
$20
card.
card's now a $15 card.
Or
Or
yeah,
the $20
exactly, or
card you
less.
spent 40 on is now a $20 card.
Yep,
If that.
exactly. That's the problem. That's the market we're in right now with these 9s, which is incredible because, man, pre-pandemic or this PSA boom, pre all that stuff, 8s meant something. 8s meant you had a pretty good card.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? Where 9s aren't even worth it anymore. That's insane. That's insane. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten to that point where it's like, if it feels like it's just pointless. You're wasting time sending these cards in for grading. These Mac Pros are perfect because it's got a clean look. You could still market your brand on there. It's perfect.
And you
And
can look
it's,
at the card whenever you want. You just
yep,
pop it open, you can look at the card and put it right back.
yep, exactly. And you're not paying, $20-$30 to grade it. You're paying whatever it is, $5-$7 for one
Yeah, I
of them.
have these. I ordered like 2 or 3 of these off of eBay, and it's the same concept except it doesn't have like the magnet on it. Like you can,
Yeah,
you can drop the card when you're trying to take this out.
yeah.
So you have to be real careful. That's why I really like the Mac Pro ones.
Yeah, they did a good job with it for sure. So you know that hobby boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know your take on this. All right. Now, hobby boxes have now made it a point to put on there or disclose, for example, 2 autos per box on average, right? Now, are you expecting 2 autographs in that box every time?
Yes.
You are.
I knew you go with this. Play some NBA.
Yeah.
So Prism NBA, I've heard about this too. So yes, if they're saying if they've always written it that way. On average, they've always written it that way. But yeah, you generally get, or if you don't, you get points. But I've heard that in this year's Prism NBA, not only are there dud boxes that don't have autos, but even the autos that do come with them are like really crappy. Autos that are worth like $10-15.
Okay.
But I am expecting 2 autos, yeah.
So I'm the opposite. All right. I know the risk I'm taking. Right? I'm buying that box. I'm hoping to get 2 good autos, right? You're always hoping for that.
But 2 autos.
I'm hoping to get 2 autos, good ones, right?
But that's the thing.
But
you
everybody
should get 2 autos. Because you're buying hobby, you're not buying retail.
But okay, so that's a different story. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Right? So, yes, when I buy a hobby box, I want 2 good autos in that box, as most people do. But I don't expect it, only because of the disclosure. I understand what I'm getting myself into. So it's happened to me where, I'd buy a box that says what it says, and I don't get the hit, or I'm missing an auto, or whatever the case may be. I get it. I don't complain about it because it's the risk I was willing to take, right? And even the dud autos can't hop on that train. Like, even if they're duds, that's the risk you're taking. Like, wouldn't it be easier if every box had a decent hit or allowed you to regain your value?
Yeah,
if that was the case, this hobby wouldn't be a hobby. It'd be you're just buying shit.
Yeah.
It's regular retail. In that case, just buy the cards. But if you're buying into a box or a pack or whatever the case may be, you're playing a game at that point. That's the whole point. You don't know what you're getting. You can't expect to get something good, if anything at all. Just you're taking that risk. That's how I go into it. I think that I agree that sometimes these companies mess up. I get that. But I think that the complaining and like expecting the companies to put, this stuff into the boxes every time is too much to ask.
You can't think of it that way, and this is why I disagree, because on retail, I get it. On retail, it's hit or miss. You're not always going to get an auto. And on the box, it does says, look for, and they're always worded differently. I don't know if you ever noticed.
Yep.
But it's usually like, look for rookie autographs or rookie relics of this year's rookies. And then the hobby boxes, and they've always said the same thing, 2 autographs or 1 autograph, 1 mem card on average. But you always get 1 or the other, if not 2 autos. Now, whether they're shit autos, that's something I'm willing to accept. But if I'm dishing out, $900 for a Prism box and I don't get 2 autos, even if they're shit autos, I'm going to be pissed off. Because that's the reason why. Because instead of wasting $900 on a box of hobby, I'm going to spend $900 on retail boxes. And have expectations.
I agree with that. I agree that there should be a standard. Hobby should be a standard.
Hobby should have
versus retail. So my gripe with that is, this is my thing with retail. I don't like that you can potentially pull the 101 black in a retail box. I hate that. I don't like it. I don't, because it's 2 different things. I think retail should be designed for the kids, or literally for the collecting. So if you want to put a retail exclusive parallel set into those, go for it.
Yeah.
Also, don't. Yeah, but they also include the regular stuff. They also include regular colors, which to me should not be. You should have hobby parallels and retail parallels separate. The other thing is the auto. I don't like that they put autographs in retail boxes. I don't like it. I think that's where you're messing up. I think that
Have you ever? I don't know how much retail you've ripped through the years, but I've ripped quite a bit. Have you ever pulled a good autograph from retail?
Hell no.
Neither have I.
Hell no. I haven't pulled anything.
I've pulled autographs. Like I'm looking at one right now. This is from Tops. This is from 2010 Tops. Armonte Edwards. This was in a retail box. Again, and even in 2010, I can't imagine that this guy was any good. Dual threat Edwards piles up 6 TDs. That's in what, over his career?
Maybe.
But that's the whole thing. It's never, and then I see stories of kids pulling like messy one-of-ones from these retail boxes, and
right.
I think they throw them in there so that people will actually go out and buy them.
Yes. I mean, that's what they want, right? They want to see people buying everything.
Yeah.
I get it, but I think that there should be a distinction, a clear distinction between what's retail and what's hobby. Like, for example, I like that Panini, I think this started maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where they started making the select retail cards blue. I like that because now you know. You're buying retail, those are the blue cards.
Yeah.
You want your regular hobby cards, it's this.
Yep.
So I like that. But I think that they should deviate it even more. I think that they should only have retail exclusive parallels in retail boxes, and everything else should go into the hobby, because the hobby is what drives this whole thing, not the retail.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're getting savages in the retail space. And by throwing all that stuff in there, I think you're taking away from the hobby and just creating this madness in retail for no reason.
You are.
It's dumb. So yeah, of course, when you see people pulling these, one-on-ones and these crazy golds out of retail boxes, people are like, oh, why do I need to spend $500 on a hobby box and get shit? I don't know. I hate retail boxes for this reason. I hate it. That's just me. That was, by the way, that Prism Basketball was at Cards HQ. They made it go viral. It happened in their shop during it. It may have been like during one of their like opening breaks at their breakers pit or whatever they're calling it.
That's a cool spot. I'd love to go there. Looks like a really cool spot, at least.
Yeah, like it looks cool.
Like Hazes?
Cool. Yeah, it looks nice.
It was just the two of us today. We miss you, Kev. We miss you, Lewis. We were scheduled to be on Monday because of conflicts. We couldn't. And then today didn't work out as well, but all is good.
It's all good. We're still trying to get Danny on here from DJ Sports, so we're working on that.
Or his dad.
His dad is welcome to come on anytime.
Yes.
Let's see what happens in 2 weeks.
Devontae Parker, that's who the Eagles signed, not Jarvis Landry.
Oh, man, the Philly show.
Mm.
For some strange reason, something always happens in our corner, okay? So our corner, we've gotten stuff stolen from us. The vendor next to us has gotten stuff stolen. The vendor across from us at a show practically died.
What?
Yeah, all of a sudden they wheeled in a wheelchair and he couldn't breathe or something, or had an attack.
Oh my God.
It just happened out of nowhere. So then this past weekend, okay, I'm standing there. I look over and there's a guy like falling over. He's like dying. I don't know what happened. Then they lift him up and they're carrying him. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening with this corner?
Oh my God.
Like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah,
get me out of 912, okay, Philly show? Get me out of 912. I don't want it anymore. It's for sale.
Put you one of those one of the vintage rows over there.
Oh man, yeah, get me out of here.
A lot of vintage at that show.
There is a lot, lot. And you're talking. It's not just one table. Like these are people that they're booths.
Yeah.
Of just ton of vintage cards on the main floor, like closer to the entrance. That's all you see. And it's not just cards, but there's also vintage memorabilia and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's really cool to see, but it is a lot.
It is.
Which I kind of like. I do like that because sometimes the modern stuff is just so because it's so common and you see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's good to walk around a little bit and see some of the stuff that started it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Not some of these Jersey shows. Well, all you see is the same freaking modern cars, the same guys.
One card passed around so many times, dragging